Hello and welcome to Game Day U, Oklahoma's only football pregame show on TV. I'm your host this week, Britton Ross. I'm joined in the studio by Aiden Tyler. And coming to us live from Oxford, Mississippi is Kaylee Jo Hommel and Emily LeBeth. We'll hear from them in just a minute, but for now, let's throw it back to last Saturday, where the Sooners and the Gamecocks met up for the first time ever. The first play of the game, we'll see right here, Michael Hawkins back to pass, tries to scramble out to his left, looking for J.J. Hester. This pass is going to be picked off. That set up a South Carolina score. Now next possession, Hawkins back to pass again, tries to scramble out to his right, drops the football. This ball is going to be returned for another South Carolina score. And now that makes it 14-0. Now third OU possession, Hawkins gets hit as he throws right here. That's the second interception for South Carolina's Nick Eamon-Warry. This one is taken back to the house, making it 21-0, less than 5.5 minutes into the game. And to make things worse, he trips and falls right here, almost running into our Game Day U producer, Jack Horan. Jackson Arnold had to come back for the Sooners. The only saving grace was this beautiful ball by Arnold to Brennan Thompson for a 54-yard touchdown. Final score, 35-9, South Carolina. And last week, head coach Brent Venables said that he wasn't a fan of midseason firings. He said that people like to point fingers at one guy, and he's right. Sooner Nation pointed at co-offensive coordinator Seth Luttrell, leading to Luttrell being fired on Sunday.
And last season, OU had the third best offense under Jeff Lebby. It's now ranked 128th. Sooner fans were pretty harsh to Jeff Lebby, but I bet he's missed at least a little bit right now. Kayla Jo, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, Aiden, well, I'm not surprised with 11 turnovers across 7 games, and Sooner fans have high expectations. I mean, they were even wearing shirts that said to fire Seth Luttrell at that South Carolina game.
Yeah, and about every week, Luttrell was saying that he needed to look at himself first, but the same mistakes were happening over and over again, not converting on third down, not creating explosive plays, and they were averaging about 3 yards a rush.
You're right, Emily. This offense has been put through the ringer this year. This is the first year the Sooners haven't had a top 20 offense since 2014. And with an OC change, at least they've acknowledged the problem, and that's step one.
I think first year we were top 10 in the country, and then last year we were. So was that, how long have I been here? 2.5 years. And I don't want to sound defensive, but I just don't want to change what the facts were. We've been an abomination on offense this year. But year one and year two, I think we're pretty good.
And the Sooners have lost back-to-back games and now sit at 4-3. Despite the change and the losses, running back Javante Barnes says the Sooners are still betting on themselves, even if the rest of the country isn't.
I wouldn't say that's our mindset. I think our mindset is go finish, go shock the world. I mean, a lot of people are counting us out, and why give them what they want? A lot of people would say, oh, we're at the bottom of SEC, we're this, we're that, but why not go flip it? Why not show everybody we're different? So I think that's our biggest mindset, and I think that's what I'm so excited for.
And the Sooners could change the course of their season with a win today.
Well, you're right, Aiden. Now we're going to send it back over to Oxford. Kaylee Jo?
Yeah, there's been a bit of quarterback controversy for the Sooners, but Brent Venables said Monday on his coach's show that Jackson Arnold would have that starting quarterback position, and he later on said that's because he stepped up and earned it.
You never know if you can see somebody. I can't predict. You go out there, and again, it's 21-0 because you throw, turn the ball over 3 straight possessions again. You'll look at everything. So. What went into it, Jackson stepped in and played pretty well, took care of the football.
Moving over to the other side of the ball, the OU defense had their first game all season where they didn't force a turnover against South Carolina, snapping a 12-game streak, and they're 0-3 when losing the turnover battle, and they're approaching this next game differently to force some takeaways.
We have to get better at attacking the ball, and a lot of times when we're getting some sacks, guys have to get the ball out. With our coverage being tight, the quarterback's holding on the ball, squeezing the ball. And so usually in those sack attempts, you got to get some strip sacks. When ball carriers are running around, you have to have hats flying the ball. The second guy, the guy they don't see, is one who has to really punch and get it out there.
And that's just the start for us here at Vaught Hemingway Stadium, but back to you guys in the studio.
Thanks, ladies. Ole Miss is known for its tailgating, and some have even called it the tailgating capital of the world. Game Day U reporter Abby Williams isn't in the Grove. She's right here in Norman.
You're right, Britton. Well, campus looks a little empty right now, but when the Sooners are here, do their tailgates match up to the legendary ones at Ole Miss? Stick with us to find out.
Todd's in the hospital.
Who's Todd?
He got a collapsed lung from vaping.
He thought it was cool. Not cool.
Promise you won't vape, Emma. It can lead to a lifelong addiction, and we can't be friends if your lungs collapse.
Bogus.
Wacky sitcom teens aren't the best people to talk to your kid about vaping.
Hey, you got a minute?
You are. Start the conversation with your child about vaping today.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed.
When we have the food we need, we are at our best. We push further. We rise higher. We unlock our full potential. When we have the food we need, we make our communities stronger. Together, we can help everyone get the food they need to thrive. Join the movement to end hunger at feedingamerica.org/actnow.
Water is our most precious resource and something that should be conserved and used wisely. Here are some water conservation tips you can try. In the kitchen, collect the excess water you use to rinse produce and use it to water houseplants. Also, soak your pots and pans instead of letting the water run while you scrape them. Water is life. This message was brought to you by the City of Norman.
Welcome back to Game Day U. Kaylee, Joe, and Emily are in Oxford right now, but Game Day U reporter Abby Williams is live from Lindsay Street with more on what makes tailgating at Ole Miss so special. Abby, for Sooner fans traveling to the game in Oxford this morning, what's so special about the Grove?
Hey, Britton. Well, I'm here at OU, and if this was a home game, well, Lindsay Street would be lined with tents and tailgaters. Now, Lindsay Street isn't the Grove by any means, and I haven't seen any chandeliers or floral arrangements bigger than I am, but in Oxford, it's a different story. Take a look. A place known for its tailgates, the Grove, Ole Miss's premier tailgating spot, is home to more than 2,500 tents on game day. I talked to some OU students to see if they think Sooner tailgates can ever reach that level of commitment.
I think OU's great. I mean, personally, we need more barbecue. That's like the biggest thing. I need more food.
I think where we are is pretty good as it pertains to like tailgating, but if we're gonna be in competition with Ole Miss, I think we're gonna have to, we're definitely gonna have to step it up. I've seen burgers and hot dogs, but like, I know people can cook steak. I want to see if someone like bunch of steak just handing out plates to everybody.
Well, at least for these two Sooner fans, it sounds like Oklahoma tailgates need to figure out their meat situation. But over in Oxford, things have been figured out for a while. OU soccer's head coach Matt Mott previously coached at Ole Miss and got to witness the Grove firsthand.
Sooner fans are going to love the Grove. It's super fun, tons of tents and people and partying, and they say Ole Miss doesn't always win the football game, but always wins a party, and that's probably accurate. I think you'll find some chandeliers and some spreads that are unbelievable, and they'll be really welcoming. They'll love that Oklahoma's there, and they'll really have a good time before the game, and then certainly they're going to want to win the football game. For any Sooner fans in the Grove or just looking for tailgate inspiration, don't party so hard that you miss that 11 a.m. kickoff. Unfortunately, the Sooner tailgates are taking a week off with it being an away game, but next week Oklahoma is back in Norman hosting Maine, and if I'm not able to tailgate with a spread like that, well, my Game Day U crew and I might just have to do it ourselves. Reporting live from Lindsay Street, Abby Williams, Game Day U. And Britton, don't you think we can set up a chandelier or maybe a charcuterie board in Studio A next week?
Thanks, Abby. Yeah, I think a charcuterie board in here would make a great mid-morning snack. And new offensive coordinator Joe Finley hasn't called plays before. And how will the Sooners respond to the change? Game Day U reporter Hallie McPherson is live with more on the new Sooners play caller.
They say defense wins championships, but this OU offense has barely been able to win them a game. Head coach Brent Venables fired offensive coordinator Seth Luttrell on Sunday and promoted tight end coach and co-offensive coordinator Joe Finley. I was there this week to talk to the Sooners on how they feel about Finley taking over.
Well, there's a lot that you obviously can't do right now, so focus on getting better right now. We need to get better. And, you know, there's, you can always plan ahead without getting distracted. So, you know, my main focus right now is getting us prepared for this week and putting together a good game plan.
I wanted to let everybody know that, you know, I mean, this is a hard time, but at the same time, we have to stay together as a team, and that's the only way we're going to get through it. And I think we've been doing a good job with that just the last 2 days, just make sure we stay together, you know, go out to practice, execute everything we do. So just here on forward, just, you know, just stay together and more tight as a team.
For me, it was just, man, let's just go get it. You know what I'm saying? We're in a situation where, you know, there's no believers, there's no, you know, nobody that got OU winning anything, you know. So I'm telling the rest of the guys, man, let's just go get it. Let's go have fun. Let's go play football, because at the end of the day, it's football. You know what I'm saying? So we're trying to have a success, and we're trying to have fun with it as well.
Ole Miss head coach Lane Kiffin, who Joe John Finley has worked under before, says a new offensive coordinator can't reinvent a system in 6 days. We will see in today's game. Back to you, Britton.
Thanks, Allie. Coming up next, we're switching the crimson and cream for that sweet powder blue. We're talking hottie toddy right after this.
Water is our most precious resource and something that should be conserved and used wisely. Here is a water conservation tip you can try. In the bathroom, if your shower can fill a 1-gallon bucket in less than 20 seconds, replace the shower head with a water-efficient one. They are cheap, easy to install, and can save you up to 750 gallons a month. Water is life. This message was brought to you by the City of Norman.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you prevent wildfires.
Dude, I've got this. I've been camping since I was 5 years old.
But I am a camping influencer.
You know what? I'll bet you $5. Okay. Assistant Smokey, what is the best way to put out a campfire?
To put out a campfire, drown with water, stir, drown again. Then make sure the fire is out cold by feeling with the back of your hand.
Wait, really?
I'll take the $5.
Water is our most precious resource and something that should be conserved and used wisely. Here is a water conservation tip you can try. In the bathroom, turn off the water while you brush your teeth. You'll save about 4 gallons per minute. That comes out to about 200 gallons a week for a family of 4. Water is life. This message was brought to you by the City of Norman.
Thanks for sticking with us. Ole Miss comes into today's game as the 18th ranked team in the country, and while at SEC Media Days, Gameday U reporter Kaylee Jo Hummel caught up with the Rebels and has the inside scoop on OU's latest conference opponent.
The Sooners topped the Rebels in number of national championships, Heisman winners, and all-time wins. But when it comes to the two going head-to-head, Ole Miss won what was the last football game of the 20th century. Now, 25 years later, Ole Miss is ready to welcome OU to Oxford.
Oklahoma has always been an elite program. They've always played at the highest, and they've been very successful. So I think that they'll do a really good job of transitioning into this year, and I'm excited to play against the best, and it'll be fun when we get to play them in Oxford and you know, have that game kick off.
Definitely a great time for sure. High intensity football game. You know, a lot of loud fans for sure. It's definitely gonna be packed out, and I'm excited for them to be coming to the conference, and I'm excited to have a game against them as well.
For head coach Lane Kiffin, he sees year 3 of the Venables era as an asset to Oklahoma.
A lot of times, one of the good parts of getting, you know, into year 3 or year 4, and you know, you just have some of the same coaches around, and even the people in the whole building that understand how you want things done. And a lot of times in the first 2 years, you're kind of always scrambling to get everybody on the same page.
The Sooners travel to the tailgating capital October 26th with a chance to tie the all-time series. Reporting from SEC Media Days in Dallas, I'm Kaylee Jo Hummel.
Thanks, Kaylee Jo. This Rebels team has scored a lot this year. They're ranked second in total offense this season, averaging 560 yards per game, 360 by air, and 200 on the ground. And they're top 10 in the country in points scored at 41 points per game, Aiden.
Well, when it comes to getting stops on third down, Ole Miss is absolutely elite. They're 4th in the country getting off the field, allowing just over 25% of third downs to get converted. And OU's offense is 127th at converting third downs. Kaylee Jo?
Well, Aiden, a bye could be what the Rebels needed, especially after getting upset by then number 13 LSU. Ole Miss ranks at 26 in rushing offense. And where are the Sooners on that list? 114.
And that OU rush offense you mentioned, Kaylee Jo, is not going to perform well against the Rebels, the #1 rush defense in the country. But their pass defense not as great. They allow opponents to have over 220 yards a game. So Jackson Arnold is going to really need to step up if he wants to win his first SEC game.
Well, now looking around the rest of the SEC, I'm highlighting a cat fight this week. The Auburn Tigers are headed to the Kentucky Wildcats tonight, and both teams are fighting to keep their whiskers above the water as both teams are below 500 on the year.
And Texas fans threw bottles on the field when they played against Georgia. Vanderbilt might throw themselves on the field again if they could pull off another top 5 upset. The Commodores need lightning to strike twice. Kaylee Jo, where are you looking?
Well, Aiden, my eyes are on number 15 Alabama as they host number 21 Missouri. This is the first time in over 10 years that the Crimson Tide has had 2 losses before October, so expect Jalen Milroe and Bama to ball out with the Tigers in T-Town.
Kaylee Jo, I'm looking at another top 25 matchup with some high stakes. The LSU Tigers are traveling to College Station to take on Texas A&M in the 12th man, and it's going to be a tough game. I mean, whoever wins this is going to be on top of the SEC and the last undefeated team in the conference. Britton?
Well, when we come back, we're back to talking about the Sooners. We'll have the breakdown of what you should watch for this 11 a.m. kickoff.
People couldn't see my potential, so I had to show them.
I've run this place for 20 years, but I still need to prove that I'm more than what you see on paper.
Today, I'm the CEO of my own company.
It's the way my mind works. I have a very mechanical brain.
Why are we not rethinking this?
I am more.
I'm more
than who I am on paper.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you out, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Hey, Assistant Smokey Bear. Call me Papa Bear, because I'm grilling up dinner. Do you get it?
Yes, good job.
So, what should I do with all these coals?
Don't just toss them out. Put them in a metal container because those embers can start a wildfire.
I understand. The stakes are high.
Ha, 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 ha.
See, Smokey thinks I'm funny.
Welcome back to Game Day U. We've got more Oklahoma football to break down before they kick off in just over an hour and a half. Now, when it comes to what to watch for this morning, I'm going to go with the OU defense. Now, we know that the offense has had its struggles this year, but how will the defense respond to always being on the field? On average, the defense has been on the field for over 32 minutes a game, which means the Sooner offense has never really been able to take control of the game, which all starts at the line of scrimmage. But given how fast Ole Miss likes to run their offense, this could be a long and exhausting day for that Sooner D. And sometimes, Aiden, the best defense is a good offense. OU has to find a way to keep Jackson Dart on the sidelines.
Yeah, and the game against South Carolina was a whiteout. Sooner fans are going to need some of that to erase that offensive performance. The Sooners ran for just 53 total yards. They also fumbled it an incredible 6 times. They only lost 2, but one of them was a scoop and score. They were stopped for a loss 13 times as well. Now, Joe Finley has experience at Ole Miss, so maybe he has a few tricks up his sleeve to expose the Rebels' defense. But the only other time OU faced Ole Miss, the Sooners also had a brand new OC. That was back in 1999 in the Independence Bowl, a 27-25 loss. Kaylee Jo?
Yeah, Aiden, the Sooners are in Oxford, but chugga chugga choo choo, the Lane train is in Sac City. Now, last time out, the Sooners offensive line allowed for 9 sacks. Yeah, you heard me right. 9, the most in school history, and that's as many sacks as there were points on the board for Oklahoma. The last time the Sooners ever came close to this, back in 2001, with 8 sacks allowed against the Baylor Bears. But Emily, what else needs to change on this offense besides just the offensive line?
Something that could change is OU's receiver depth. True freshman Jacob Jordan stood out against South Carolina, tying the most receiving yards in a game this season with 86. Also in that game, Brennan Thompson scored a touchdown, the first time an OU receiver scored since Thompson himself in week 2. This week, Venables gave updates on receiver injuries. Jalil Farouk and Andrell Anthony are still weeks from returning, and the Sooners' only hope, Deion Burks, is ruled out for today. But that's all for us from Ole Miss. For Kaylee Jo Hommel and Emily LeBeth, back to you guys in Norman.
Thanks, ladies. Kaylee, Jo, and Emily have to go cover the game, but you can stay with us. And 3 new analysts will join us here in the studio, ready to make some college football picks.
Did you know that items like paint, cleaning solutions, pesticides, solvents, and other chemicals are considered household hazardous waste? These chemicals are dangerous to our environment and water quality when they are dumped in our storm drains or gutters. Fortunately, the City of Norman has a dedicated household hazardous waste facility where you can properly dispose of these items. Call 405-366-5463 to make an appointment. For more information, visit bit.ly/Norman Stormwater.
There are a lot of temptations facing young people today, like electronic cigarettes and skateboarding. Each vape pod can contain the same amount of nicotine as a pack of cigarettes. This can lead today's youth to a lifelong addiction and severe lung damage. Recall and consider the facts before making a poor decision.
The health class film guy isn't the best person to talk to your kid about vaping. Got a few minutes? You are. Start the conversation with your child about vaping today.
Everyone has a ritual, that small thing to keep us focused. A habit we never skip, to clear our minds and elevate our performance.
But what do you do to keep your head in the game? To drown out the self-doubt and support your mental health. Because being your best isn't just about taking care of your body.
It's about taking care of your mental health. Discover the resources that you need to keep your mind focused and your mental health a priority.
Did you know that trash, like plastic bottles and fast food wrappers, can carry germs and bacteria? When these items are tossed in the street, they eventually find their way to a river or lake and have a negative impact on aquatic life. Keep our waters clean by putting your trash in the bin. For more information, visit bit.ly/Norman Stormwater.
I'm an ex-drug dealer, and I'll be your sub today. Two milligrams of fentanyl can be lethal. A lethal dose is in here. Who gets it, I won't know.
It's cheap, it's potent, and it's profitable.
The sad reality is, fentanyl is being mixed into everything now.
More kids should know.
Welcome back to Game Day U. We've got some fresh faces here in the studio. With me are Amy Acevedo, Hunter Cornejo, and Jillian Tobias. They'll be picking some of the best games of the day. Now we're going to start with a freshly ranked Service Academy, the 24th ranked Navy midshipmen hosting number 12 Notre Dame. Will the luck of the Irish prevail today?
Notre Dame is ranked number 10 in the country in total defense, allowing just 10.8 points per game since their loss to Northern Illinois. And the Notre Dame has also won the last 6 matchups between these two teams. I've got the Fighting Irish winning this one.
Navy is one of 3 teams to defeat every opponent by double digits. Quarterback Blake Horvath has dominated with the nation's 3rd best QBR. Give me Navy to start 7-0 for the first time since 1978.
I'll have to agree with you, Hunter. Navy will need all hands on deck if they're going to pull out a win against a 12th ranked team. With the Navy averaging almost 45 points per game and Notre Dame with a cool 34.6. Call me crazy, but I think the midshipmen are sailing their way into beating the Fighting Irish. I'm taking Navy.
Now, Illinois has been a surprising team this year, but can they pull it out today over the top-ranked Ducks?
I won't lie, this is going to be a tough matchup for the Fighting Illini, but Illinois is in the hunt for a playoff spot. They average 29.6 points per game and hold opponents to just 18.1. I've got Illinois shocking the world and taking the W.
I don't know about that one, Amy. Oregon has the best win of the season, defeating Ohio State. Homecoming weekend, Autzen Stadium will be rocking for another top 25 matchup. Give me the Ducks.
Hunter, you are yet again right with this pick. I've got to say the Ducks are dominating out on the field, so much so that Dylan Gabriel transferred there for his last year of eligibility. Oregon is ranked #1, and while I love a good underdog story, Illinois is not going to pull out a win. Give me Oregon.
Now another ranked SEC showdown. LSU on the road at Texas A&M tonight. Can the Tigers escape Kyle Field with the win?
LSU quarterback Garrett Nussmeier had some big shoes to fill this season, Heisman winning shoes. He has a 65% completion rate and has thrown for over 2,000 yards. If the Tiger defense can control the A&M passing game, I've got the Tigers clawing the Aggies.
Amy, I'm not sure about these picks. Under the lights of Kyle Field, wearing the all-black uniforms, the 12th man will be felt for the Tigers. Mike Elko gets enough stops for the Aggies to stay atop the SEC standings.
Now, for over 100 years, these two teams have played each other, and with a loss last year to LSU with a score of 42-30, the Aggies are itching for some redemption. With both teams heading into this game 6-1, I'm placing my bet with the 12th man. Give me Texas A&M.
And now finally, OU at number 18, Ole Miss. Will OU's new play caller, Joe John Finley, be able to string some offense together today, or will they get hit by the lane train?
OU's offense has been lackluster all season. The Sooners have a new head play caller in Joe John Finley and have only scored 12 points in their last 2 games. Ole Miss ranks 2nd in the nation in total offense. I've got the Rebels winning this one, and it won't be close.
Great pick, Amy. Ole Miss is top 5 in scoring defense. Joe John Finley's calling debut will not be one to remember. Lane train rolls.
Well, hotty toddy by golly, I'm going with Ole Miss for this one. Sorry, OU.
Thanks for watching Game Day U, where it just means more. For Amy Acevedo, Hunter Cornejo, and Jillian Tobias, I'm Britton Ross. We'll be back right here next week when OU hosts Maine. Have a fun and safe game day.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. But every time you drive after drinking, the music